Good evening and welcome to our Covenant Healthcare sponsored pregame show on Bay County TV. Jeff Doan along with Mike Vincent tonight. And welcome, Mike. It's a pleasure to have you in the house.
Jeff, thank you for having me back. I want to thank Bay Area TV for re-upping my subcontract. I'm excited to be here.
Well, when we took a vote, it was near unanimous, and so therefore glad to have you back with us. We're in for a treat tonight. We've got 2-1 Garber against 1-2 Birch Run, and I think this is just going to be a good old-fashioned slobber knocker.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that we chose this game. I've been looking forward to it all week. We have a rivalry that's rich in tradition. Birch Run has been a thorn in Garber's side for a long time now. Garber is 2-1, Birch Run is 1-2, and both teams have a chip on their shoulder tonight.
Well, I think you're going to see size against size. So for me, it all starts in the trenches because both teams are very blessed in the trenches.
As most games do, I believe. Whoever's been in the weight room and committed to it for the last 4 years has the first advantage of tonight's game.
Bookends for Birch Run are both fourth-year players, and they are going to be a whole lot of fun. But they're going to have their hands full with a sophomore from Garber by the name of Van Sumeren.
Van Sumeren, that's a name that's rich in tradition here in Essexville, and I look forward to see what he can do tonight.
It will just be a picture-perfect night for the fans, but the other specialist is going to be the hydration specialist, could be the MVP of this game tonight.
We have a beautiful Indian summer, perfect night for announcers and broadcasters and such. For the players, it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge.
Well, you sit back, relax, and enjoy. We've got a great one coming at you tonight. It is the Garber Dukes and the Birch Run Panthers. That puts the wraps on our Covenant Healthcare sponsored pregame show. Back in a moment with all the game action here on BCTV.
In the fight against cancer, you are never alone. The Covenant Cancer Care Center pledges to stand by you every step of the way. And standing with us now is MD Anderson Cancer Network, a program of MD Anderson Cancer Center, one of America's leading cancer care providers. This extraordinary affiliation gives families unprecedented access to world-renowned cancer treatment plans close to home. Together, we can fight cancer, hand in hand.
Good evening and welcome to our Game of the Week here on BCTV. Jeff Doan and Mike Vincent along with you. And boy, for the next 10 minutes, we're going to be dealing with the serious setting sun. But boy, we're going to have a fun game tonight.
Absolutely, Jeff. Been looking forward to it all week, as I said in the pregame, and here we go.
Ball taken upfield by the Garber. As Anthony gets back up over the 25 to the 28. Boy, that ball hit the ground, went right straight up in the air. And Mike, when that happens, that really throws off your return blocking, and he was pretty much on his own as he came out over the 25.
Yes, nice job by the Birch Run special teams. Good opening move by the Panthers.
So this is going to be a battle of the trenches tonight. Both offensive and defensive lines on both teams, Mike, are very, very talented. And here we go with all the game action.
I think it's going to be important to win this battle early on and set the tone.
Quick pass on the outside.
Pass is complete to Anthony.
Schimmel to Anthony. As Anthony does a nice little 5-yard out and picks up positive yardage on first down, just enough to keep those defensive backs up. They're going to actually only call it a 3-yard gain on the play, so it'll be 2nd down and 7, but the cornerbacks are on notice.
Absolutely. And you can see what Garber's going to try to do here. They're going to establish the pass and set up their big running game, which I know they're looking forward to. Get that Van Sumeren guy in the action.
Well, Schimmel is actually a second-year starter at quarterback, so here goes the handoff up the middle. A big gain out over the 40 to the 44. As Grant Christie finds a seam between the center and the right guard, and he got to the second level in a hurry.
Absolutely, running downhill already tonight.
And that run is good enough for a Garber first down. 1st and 10 for the Dukes from the 44.
So as they get near midfield, 2 plays, they've already chunked out almost 20 yards in real estate. So great start for the Garber Dukes.
Absolutely. Coach Coquillard's got to be happy with that. A 10-yard average after the first couple of plays. Good opening statement by the Dukes.
Boy, trying to come up the middle as Christie gets rocked. Number 14 with the first hit, and that's Dodick. As Dodick got up, and he had a lot of company.
Big number 66, Corbin Daly, also in on the action there. 6'2", 265.
No gain
That's
on
not a bad
play.
guy to have in the
Makes it
middle for the
2nd and
Panthers.
10 for the Dukes.
Boy, you know, if you're an offensive lineman, they all love to hang together for the most part. If you saw a group of 4 or 5 of them come to your house, you'd have to lock the cupboards because I'll tell you what, they'd be like locusts on your food. But I guess it's always fun to have them in the neighborhood.
I'd lock the cupboards, but if they were inside my house, I wouldn't lock the doors.
On the outside, a
Pass
nice,
complete to Anthony.
as Anthony again catches that little swing pass and is able to pull it upfield. It's going to be 3rd down and a short 2 yard to go as Vance in on the tackle amongst others.
Nice little 6-yard swing pass. Garber Dukes nickel and diamond the Panthers right now.
Well, and as most coaches do, Mike, you script that first series of plays. So, you know, you're running plays looking for defensive tendencies from those plays, and you kind of set up what you're going to run the rest of the game based on that.
You got to know Quillard is definitely in to have done that. Absolutely.
Ball carrier on the play is Christie again, as Greg Christie is hit by Semitis amongst others, and the fans were happy that we got that Semitis name right.
Yes.
They said it's been called wrong a time or two this year.
And I got the feeling from the intensity of the fans before the game that this Semitis guy is a big player for them. They wanted to make sure we got that right tonight.
First down and Birch run territory. 1st and 10 for the Dukes from the 45.
They spot that ball at the 45-yard line of the Birch Run Panthers. 1st and 10 for the Garber Dukes. Schimmel again out of the shotgun. He's back again, a little wheel route, and he goes to the inside. Nice job as Anthony holds on. He got rocked. He knew when he came on that little skinny post he was going to get hit. Held on to the ball. Positive gain.
Absolutely, and Schimmel threw a dime there. He looks like he is right on the money and ready to go tonight.
2nd and 1 for the Dukes.
Well, last year he kind of took the job over from Breidenbaugh, who was a senior. And we knew that he had to be a very talented young man because Breidenbaugh was a talented quarterback in his own right. So Schimmel did put that right between 2 defenders and a perfectly thrown ball. Anthony now in motion here to the near side of the field. Handoff up the middle. That is number 15, Christie, as he gets all the way down inside the 15-yard line. As Rodriguez, amongst others, in on the tackle. But you run a few plays to the outside, and then you get that quick little trap block on the inside. And Christie took it off.
And that run is good enough for a Garber first down.
So they're going to have him down, looks like at about the 12-yard line.
1st and 10 for the Dukes from the 13.
Again, Schimmel out of the 5-yard shotgun. Boy, he takes a lot of time. A nice little skinny post, and the defender might have got that arm in a little bit early. Flag on the play.
He did get the call.
There is a flag on
Now, Jeff,
the play.
I'm an old defensive back, so I tend to have some sympathy for these backs. There was some contact there, but if I was a referee, I might have called that incidental. But again, I'm a little biased.
Well, again, when you use that right arm and you come and you rake early before that ball gets there, and it wasn't real early, but the back official's going to be right on that call.
Receiver's going to get that call more often than not, but I get the sense that you were not a
we got
defensive
offsetting
back.
penalties. I'm sorry, I didn't see.
I'm sorry, I didn't either.
As the Dukes got holding and pass interference, so we're going to replay the down.
And you got to call that a break for the Dukes there. No loss of down on the play.
We'll replay 1st and 10.
Get to reset and reload.
But again, Schimmel is right on in those first series of passes. He is really feeling it. He's in a nice rhythm early on. I think Coach Quillard has given him nice short passes to get his confidence up, and he's really dialed in.
And as a junior, you got to call that an A-plus arm for high school quarterbacks there. He really lets it go.
Ball down on the ground.
Fumble on the play is recovered by Anthony.
Anthony did a nice job there because he was pushed just as he was going down for the ball, and a lot of times you sail right over the top of that ball, but he was able to get his mitts on it and secure it.
He had to hustle to pounce on that loose ball. You know what's interesting in a good football game and a rivalry like this?
It is rolled an incomplete pass. 2nd and 10.
Oh, because it was a forward.
Okay. I was going to say, little plays like that and a little bit of hustle here and there can make all the difference in the fourth quarter.
Again, though, an impressive drive here. We've got 7:41 left in our first quarter of play. Still no score, but the Garber Dukes have moved it right down the field, and they're making an early statement. Schimmel's coming to the near side of the field. He's got time to throw that football in the back of the end zone.
Schimmel's pass is complete to number 3, Jacob Seagraves.
It's Seagraves. I couldn't see the number in the sun in the corner. It's a Garber Duke touchdown. Again, Schimmel put that ball where it needed to be, got over the defender, got it up high, and perfect catch in the back of the end zone.
That's a beautiful 75-yard drive, and Schimmel is throwing darts tonight. That's about 5 right on the money.
So it looks like they may be attempting a 2-point conversion here.
As I understand, that's what the Dukes are doing this year. They have not attempted an extra point yet this year.
Yeah, they must like the percentages.
The way that drive went, I don't blame them.
What a great move on the inside by Schimmel. He was hedged in on the outside, planted that foot, headed right upfield, went in between 2 defenders for the 2-point conversion.
Pinballed in there for 2 points. Garber Dukes are up 8-0 and a very, very impressive opening drive.
7:36 left in the first quarter. Back in a moment on BCTV.
Our smiles can light up a room. Our work can light up an entire city. We're the men and women of the IBEW, working with a code of excellence that guarantees the job will be done right, on time, and safely. We're lighting the path to the future. Let us show you just how bright that path is.
Rodriguez, the number 13.
All
Gage
set
Mamba,
here
deep to
as we
receive for Birch
wait
run.
for the Garber Dukes to send that ball sailing. And they have a little squib kick that's taken up front by number 54, Corby Kulu, as he, for a big fella, showed some pretty good hands up front.
Yes, he did. And he's given the Panthers some pretty good field position on their opening drive. They're going to start at the 44.
As again, we're optimistic that sun, we're hoping that the picture is okay, but we're looking right into that setting sun. And we're going to get our first opportunity, Mike, to see that Birch run offense. And we know they got some big fellas up front.
Yes, we do. They have a hot running back, a coach's kid, and his name is Chase Gruno. I hear he's having a very good season. Quarterback number 11, as you said, is a sophomore and has really establishing himself as a varsity quarterback for the Panthers.
So we'll find out if the sophomore Torres is equal to the task. And on the first play of the game, just have a little out of sync as more than one person missed the snap count. And sometimes when that happens, that's on your center. If you see multiple linemen moving, other than that, or they weren't paying much attention to the sophomore in the first huddle.
That's right. And I have to believe that opening drive is in the Panthers' heads right now. They're a little rattled. 1st and 15 for Birch run.
Tough when you've got to give up 5 on your first play of the game.
That's right.
But we know they're a very talented team, and their 1-2 record is deceiving. They're a much better football team than that. As they've got wide receivers split to both sides. Offset backs in the backfield. Trying to take it up the middle, met right at the point of attack by the Garber Dukes. Number 21, Alex Van Sumeren, was there in a hurry.
I have a feeling we're going to call that guy's name a few more times tonight.
As Davis is going to be very active tonight as well.
Makes it 2nd and 15 for Birch run.
2nd down, 15 yards to go. They spread the offense out, bringing twins to the near side, single to the wide side, split backs in the backfield. Let's see if Garber comes with some pressure. They are coming with pressure and absolutely nowhere to go as Torres was tackled on the play by Swartout.
That's right. Fought his way back to the line of scrimmage, but the Panthers are looking at 3rd and long here.
And that's exactly what Garber was hoping to put them in that first series.
3rd and 15.
So now it's time for the big sophomore to come up with a play as Torres now is going to bring trips to the near side of the field. And you're always hoping that your backs are going to be able to pick up blitzers because, you know, Coach Peterson loves to come with a lot of packages that include blitzes.
That's right. Single back formation. My old coach used to call that the chuck and duck.
As they're just coming with the regular. Flushed out of the pocket is Torres. He's going to try and throw the football. There's absolutely nothing there for him. A smart move by the sophomore to just tuck it away, get out of bounds, and live for another play.
That is a mature decision. Even though it's going to be 4th and 17, it's better to risk nothing than risk total disaster when nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, you don't want to force the ball into a turnover on your first drive. You know, your defense has been pretty solid for Birch Run through the first 3 games, and you can count on them to make some adjustments going into that second defensive series.
Birch Run has a long reputation of being very well coached and very disciplined.
It's a penalty flag on the play. Offside against the Garber Dukes.
On the playing indication is encroachment against the Dukes.
Boy, and I didn't see anybody jump, so somebody must have just lined up in that neutral zone, and boy, that's a no-no.
I'm right with you. Of course, the sun is deceiving. There might have been a jump there too, but I tend to believe that was somebody lined up in the neutral zone. Okay, 4th and 11, and we are back to punt.
Garber comes with some token pressure. There's a high kick, and that is going to bounce down on about the 30-yard line and roll down to about the 20.
The punt is down at the 20-yard line.
So nice job that time. You can't get that punt clean. You might as well just let it hit the ground. You don't want something bad to happen.
As you said, you don't want to force things this early, especially with that very impressive opening drive. You don't want to fight for 3 yards when your offense is doing just fine at the 20.
You know, Mike, in starting that first drive at the 25, they're really in not a bad spot at their own 20. They know they can work them way out of the end.
That's right. And I have to stress what an important opening drive that was for the Garber Dukes. They're playing a fierce rival. This has been a team that's been a thorn in their side for many, many years. They have one common opponent this year, and it was Alma. Garber had to come back, make a ferocious comeback late in the 4th quarter to win. Birch Run barely lost against Alma, so you have 2 well-matched teams tonight.
Boy, a late triple option. They go on that pitch as Christie gets out there. He makes the first 2 people miss, picks up positive yardage, and he's going to end up with about 7 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 3.
And the play makes it 2nd and 3.
And how about this Christie kid? 53 yards so far in the first quarter and counting.
Well, that is something that a lot of kids can do in a half and be excited about, to be just over halfway through the first quarter.
Absolutely.
He's getting chunks. Again, Schimmel back, brings motion in Anthony to the near side of the field. He comes to the outside, he lofts it downfield, just off the fingertips.
Intended for Fisher.
As Fisher just missed it.
And 3.
Parrish back defensively for the Panthers, as that was still a nice soft touch on that pass. But you know what? The coaches are going to be up and they're going to look at that play saying, Schimmel, you might have forced that. You had Anthony wide open out here on the flats for a little dump that you could have got 6 or 7 out of. So they'll put that in the memory bank.
That's right. Very well covered by the Birch Run secondary.
They bring trips to this near side of the field. It'll be 3rd down and 3 yards to go. 6-man front defensively for the Birch Run Panthers. Schimmel back. They're going to try that same pass play.
Look out.
And that's just off the hands
Schimmel's
of the defender on the play, number 8, Tanner.
Fisher. Number 8, Ty
Fisher
Tanner
never got behind Tanner. Tanner played that one very, very well defensively.
That's 2 in a row. Tanner seems to be on his game for the Birch Run Panthers. Nice and very important stop by the Birch Run Panthers that time.
So very
another
important 3-0.
That's right. Another 80-yard drive, 2 in a row can really, really wreck a team early on.
That could be a heavy demoralizer for that group, but there's a kick, and that is kicked to the wide side of the field. And most generally, that kick gets pretty good forward roll. Now, that took a pretty good Birch Run bounce as it came back a couple of yards, but at the 37-yard line, it'll be 1st and 10 for Birch Run.
Just
as
a little
that kick there was only about 30 yards.
And just a little under 5 minutes to go in this first quarter. Garber Dukes up 8-0 against the Birch Run Panthers.
First and 10 from their own 37.
Again, that setting sun, Mike, we're going to be awful happy in about 5 minutes when it dips behind those trees.
The glare is fierce, but I tell you, the weather is beautiful, Jeff. What a beautiful Indian summer here in Essexville, Michigan. Great night for football.
Great night to spectate football, that's for sure.
Right.
Torres with the handoff to that big, strong fullback who breaks a couple of blocks and bangs forward for almost 8 yards on the play.
Brought down by Davis.
And that's the guy Coach Gruno was talking about. His name is number 27, Chase Gruno. And from what I understand, he runs downhill like a bowling ball made of butcher knives.
He loves to keep that between the tackles, but when he gets outside the tackles, he loves the look of that defensive back coming at him because he'll finish.
Second and a short 3 for the Panthers.
Again, out of the short shotgun, which is pretty much turned into the norm in offense anymore, out of the shotgun.
You know, you go back to the 70s or 80s, and if you're around in those times and you like football, you would have swore that you'd never see this at the high school level. This used to be Monday Night Football, New York Jet stuff, and now just about every high school in the state of Michigan's running a shotgun.
Now, Gruno on that little pass, that was a lateral pass, so you got to make sure that's complete because that's a live football. And he squares up his shoulders coming forward, but the Garber Duke defense chopped him down like a tree around the ankles and kept him to virtually no gain on the play. This is a big third down and a long 2-yard-to-go situation early on for the Birch Run Panthers.
Nice job sealing the edge for the Dukes there on defense.
As again, Torres taking his time looking over the defense. Looks like there's some heat coming on this play. As they give that ball to Gruno, he's hitting the backfield, and he doesn't even get back to the line of scrimmage. Van Sumeren got around that corner in a big hurry and slammed the door.
2 tackles so far for Van Sumeren, and that was a big third down stop for the Garber Dukes. Interesting decision to make here for the Essexville, the Birch Run coaching staff here. Looks like they're going to go for it.
Well, they're going to attempt to go for it. I think they may just try and pull Garber off sides. We'll see how that is going to work. Now they're going back in a punt formation, and Garber will get back to return this kick. Is getting there in a hurry. Hedden with the catch of Fisher, as Fisher got away from the first couple, but he had 5 white jerseys there. He couldn't get away from all 5.
Outstanding special teams coverage for the Birch Run Panthers. That's pretty evident that they stress that in practice.
So that ball is going to be at about the 22-yard line. It'll be first and 10 for the Garber Dukes.
2:25 to go in the first quarter. Garber still leads 8-0.
Schimmel back to pass. Again on the outside.
Schimmel's pass falls
Seagreaves
intended for Seagreaves.
Might have had his head upfield before that ball looked into his mitts.
He had some open ground there, and he knew he had some open ground, and he knows exactly what he did.
That play looked like it had some success. I would not be surprised if they came back to it soon.
Coach Quillard's going to leave that one in his pocket and pull it out at least a few more times tonight.
As they've got twins here to the near side again. Schimmel out of the shotgun. He's back with another pass. Throws that off of his back foot, nearly intercepted. As Ty Tanner just jumped that route, and very, very fortunate Tanner didn't pick that off. Anytime your quarterback's throwing off of that back foot, you're not following through, and you can most generally assume that ball's going to come up a little short of its target. He may have seen the defender there and realized he was running out of time and threw that ball away.
That might have been a good decision, but I like the first thing you said also. When quarterbacks are throwing off their back foots, 3 things happen, and they're all bad.
Yes, indeed. As Schimmel's back again.
Oh,
as they got a little screen pass, it never got set up. Almost Dodick almost had himself a pick, and he had a lot of green grass in front of him.
Got to hand it to these Birch Run Panthers after that impressive opening drive by the Garber Dukes. The Panthers have really shut them down, made some interesting adjustments very early in the game. We'll see how the Dukes respond.
Well, I mean, you almost cannot expect Schimmel to be as hot the rest of the game as he was on that first drive. I mean, he was zoned in on that first drive. So, you know, he showed a human side in the next 2 drives, but that could partially be to do good defense.
Indication is offsides against Birch Run.
That 5-yard penalty will still make it 4th and 5. I'm pretty certain too deep in their own end to risk going for it.
Absolutely.
But to have that defense offsides, first for Garber on the last series and now for Birch Run here, you know, there's no excuse for a defensive end or tackle to be lining up in the neutral zone. You get in your stance, we teach that at the youngest level. You look at the ball. There's a high end-over-end kick. Got to be taken back at the 28-yard line. It's fumbled and then picked up again just in the nick of time by number 20, Toporski. As Toporski was trying to move forward just a little bit before he had that ball, and he kind of short-armed it a little bit. And
with 2:07 to go in this first quarter, we've had some near misses here. I can feel that we're just on the edge of some really hot action.
Well, it looks like we got a little flyover coming here in the distance.
Oh, yes, there we go.
Panthers will take over first.
Did athletic director Dave Schwartz, did he organize the Blue Angels? Did he get them to come to tonight's game?
I tell you what, if he did, he's pulling out all the stops for Bay County TV. 1st and 10 for the Birch Run Panthers. As they line it up again, Torres. Again, they've got many people in motion.
There is a flag on the play.
And when you've seen this multiple times at the start of the game, it's up to your sophomore quarterback to take charge in the huddle. And that means people are not focused early on the snap count. They've got to be tuned in and have confidence in that sophomore quarterback that he's going to be able to run the offense.
First rule in football, don't beat yourselves. Let the other team beat you if they're going to. Don't do it to yourselves. And I think I'm with you. Quarterbacks got to get right in their faces, right in their grills, right in the huddle, and say, guys, it's time to play tonight.
Well, it's the second out of 3 series that have started with a 1st and 15 before they run their first play.
That's right.
And you don't like to be behind the sticks on first down. Torres back. He's going to keep it himself to come around the corner. Look at the contain on the outside by number 8, Keegan. Had that thing absolutely perfectly played, squared up the shoulders, and made the tackle.
Really well coached on defense, these Garber Dukes. And speaking of first rules, that is the first rule for defensive ends and cornerbacks. Coaches tend to say, look, we don't care if you make any tackles tonight, but you make sure nothing gets outside you.
Yep, I thought that was Kinsella, but it was Fisher, number 6, as we're just now starting to be able to see better now that the setting sun is finally behind the trees.
This should make the job a little easier tonight.
4-yard gain on the play, 2nd down and 11 yards to go. Motion to the near side, and they're trying the jet sweep around the corner.
A lot of room.
With a nice groove, he's down to the 40, the 35, the 30, the 25, the 20, 15, 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He's into the end zone. It's a Birch Run Panther touchdown. And what do we got, a penalty flag?
There's a flag on the play. Indication is holding against Birch Run.
Well, I don't see where the flag's at. And if that was a holding call, it was at the point of attack on the cornerback that was trying to get away, trying to make that tackle, and I believe that corner was Tommy Shapansky.
Yeah, that is a spot foul. That's not just going to come back, that's just going to come way back. Huge break for the Garber Dukes. I believe that was that running back was Blake Samitis, the guy whose name we learned to pronounce before the game started.
He got an extra gear when he got into the secondary.
Man, did he hit that hole. That was a 65-yard gallop being called back right now.
The coaching staff wasn't real happy for Birch Run, but they saw it happen right in front of the bench.
No doubt about that.
There was not a big question about what had happened.
10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul makes it 2nd and 14.
But Torres initiated that play well, and just a great job of getting upfield and showing that speed, which Garber better take note of. You got pursuit angles you got to take perfectly.
A bit demoralizing, but I think a bit of a confidence builder too. Birch Run knows what they can do now.
We got time out of the field. Garber Dukes will take a break and be back in a moment on Bay County TV. So your car is getting towed and you're not sure where to take it? Try Village Towing and Auto Repair. Our expert mechanics are here to help assist you with all your repair needs. We have over 30 years of experience with motor vehicles, so you know you're getting the best work that you can find. Stop by the shop at 2377 South Huron Road in Coquitlam or give us a call at 989-684-9607. Back here on Bay County TV, Jeff Doan and Mike Vincent along with you. Natalie Doan on the camera tonight. Shorten crew. Downfield.
Oh, my
perfectly
goodness.
thrown football in and out of the hands of Brixton Cook. Cook wishes he had that back. Running back there was Logan Anthony, but he had two offensive players that he was kind of split in between. Cook wishes he had that back. That was perfectly thrown.
It sure was. Torres threw it right in the bucket. Boy, I'll tell you what, that is 2 touchdowns that didn't happen for the Birch Run Panthers. That's got to sting.
As again, single back. You don't have to look back there to wonder who that Chase Gruno is, the back. He is a beast. Again, back to the outside.
Torres' pass falls incomplete, intended for Gruno. 4th and
Again, very nearly a lateral. Well covered, snuffed out by the Essexville Garber Dukes.
Do you know how you can tell if that is a lateral pass? There's one person on the field you look to.
Who's that?
And that will be the head linesman if that play is going away. It's his job, and he will shuffle his arm out into the backfield. If that's a lateral, meaning no whistle, you keep it. It's a live football. He did not put his arm back, but that was close to being a lateral.
Gotcha.
So it's still another nice defensive set. And there's a low line drive kick that had a chance to be returned. And using the better part of discretion, the ball goes back to the 25-yard line.
Big punt. That's a 44-yarder. Garber again starts at their own 25.
So Garber has started those drives, all of them, basically between the 20 and 25-yard line all night long. So the field position victory so far has gone to Birch Run.
I was just going to say the same thing. Again, you can tell this program really stresses special teams.
2:15 left in our first quarter of play. 24. Oh, just 21. Again, tough from our vantage point to see that, but Natalie Doan's keeping us in line. 21 ticks left. This could be the last play of the first quarter. Handoff up the middle goes to Greg Christie. He is tackled amongst others by number 30, Forrest White. And Harris also in on the tackle. And I believe that Garber's going to let the rest of this first quarter clock run out.
Tell you what, if you approached Coach Coquillard before the game and said, I'll tell you what, we'll give you an 8-0 lead at the end of the first quarter, I know Coach Coquillard would have definitely signed the card at that.
Again at the end of the first, as you just heard, it's 8-0 Garber over Birch Run. Back in a moment for the second quarter on Bay County TV. AAA Transport and Limousine is the Great Lakes Bay region's most reliable and requested transportation service. For over a decade, we have been helping our clients to get to their destination on time, in style, and comfort. AAA's services include non-emergency medical transport, wheelchair accessible, school transportation, and shuttle services. We strive to provide exceptional customer service and tailor our fleet to meet your individual needs. Rest assured that you are in safe hands when you ride with AAA Transport and Limousine. To set up your next appointment, give us a call at 989-893-8294. Back here at the start of the second quarter, Jeff Doan and Mike Vincent along with you. Run right up the middle. It's the Garber Dukes. Christie pounces it to the outside, picks up the first down and more. Boy, great vision to cut it to the wide side of the field. He found some open greenery out there and got positive yardage.
Yes, he did. 14 more yards for Christie on his way to a very big night and a very big game early on in this season.
Garber, first down.
Well, a lot of people wanted to talk about Gruno and he is a big, strong back, but Christie says I'm going to be heard from as he's already tickling probably 75 yards rushing here in this first half. Just over 1 quarter of play. Schimmel hands that ball off and met right at the line of scrimmage.
Maybe went to the well once too often there.
As amongst everybody else, a Parrish in on that hit.
Yep.
Also Matsky there, so
2nd and 10.
They're bringing in size at the defensive tackle. Is coming into the game as A.J. Polly, and he replaced number 21 Colin Parrish, who's the other running back on offense. So,
Coach Gruno for the Panthers told us before the game he has 2 linemen, plays both ways on offense and defense, who are 4-year starters for the Panthers. You got to believe they're going to be playing on Saturdays somewhere.
That is quite an accomplishment in the Tri-Valley. Here's Schimmel. He found an opening up the middle. It's shut down in a hurry. What a great job.
Down in the backfield by a host of Panthers, including number 61, Matthew Mayo.
And on Saturdays at the BFL, where you and I both work, I like to call that a pride of Panthers.
Indeed. The other person I think that made that is a Stone Cipher. I think he was there as the spy for Schimmel, and when Schimmel thought he had an opening, that door got shut in a hurry.
Sure did. Stone Cipher. That might be about one of the best football names I've ever heard for a defensive lineman.
He's got
Stone
that
Cipher.
inside backer, and he was hawking the quarterback. It's 3rd down and 10 yards to go as Anthony goes in motion to the wide side of the field. Quick pass to the outside. What a great move, and very close to the first down marker.
Terrific slant pass.
They're going to give him the first down.
And the Garber Dukes move the ball just inside Panther territory.
They're not going to need to measure this. He's got it by the length of a football.
I'm sitting right on the line here, Jeff, and I got a first down by half a yard at least.
Yep, I say it's at least the length of a football, but the crew will bring it out, and they want to make certain it's a big point in the ball game. But if that first down is truly obtained, which we feel it will be, Garber Dukes are back in Panther territory. It'll be on the 48-yard line.
Wanted to quickly sneak in a story about these Garber Dukes, who I'm so happy to be here tonight. I wanted to watch these guys for a couple of years now, but as you know, I tend to work on Friday nights at Engel Stadium across town there. Reason why I wanted to see a game here is because I've seen these guys growing up on the baseball field and on the football field, and they've been knocking heads with each other and against each other since they were about 8 years old, and they know how to win. And they like to win.
And certainly, as we look by the length of a football, just as both of our eagle eyes had presented, it was a first down. And, yep, it's the beauty of you being with that BFL. How many years have you been announcing that? It's got to be 10 or more.
Yeah, I started doing that when my oldest son was 11 years old, and he's 22 now, so I guess that's 11 years doing that. And it is a blast, as you know.
Trying to turn around the corner, picking up positive yardage is Schimmel. And Schimmel got out of bounds, and nice job riding him out of bounds.
Grinds out about 3 on the play.
As Gruno was there, couldn't tell if that was 27 or 77. He had the jersey pulled up. But Gruno initiated that tackle in bounds. He rode it the full length out of bounds. But when you initiate that tackle in bounds, you normally get the continuation out of bounds without the penalty flag.
Yes, he does. And Gruno making himself a real presence on offense and defense as well.
He's out there chugging a little bit right now. You can see him breathing hard. When you don't take a play off, I don't care what kind of shape you're in, it's tough to play both ways on every down.
I bet he'll let himself sleep until 10, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Christie on the carry.
As that time,
Brought down by Torres.
as Gruno reached out and just missed it. He's coming out of the ball game right now. He just motioned to the sidelines, and You know, he got up just a little bit slow, but to me that was a fatigue slow, not an injured slow.
Absolutely.
And I think he'll take a blow for a play or two, and he'll be able to come right back.
I'll tell you what, playing 60 minutes both ways is a tough thing to do, especially in 80-degree weather.
Again, 3rd down and short. This is wide open playbook, 3rd and a long one. Schimmel's going to hand that ball off to Christie. Christie bangs forward. Nothing fancy there. Penalty flag at the end of that play. A lot of times that'll be a face mask penalty when it comes into the pile that late.
Referees discussing matters.
Personal foul face mask.
Personal foul face mask.
Personal foul face mask against Birch.
And you remember in high school, you have the opportunity for a 5 or a 15. If you just grab that mask, it's 5. If it stays there for more than a split second, it's a pretty easy call for 15 yards. Yep. And don't look down, but the Garber Dukes are on the roll again.
Here they come again. Really got to like the adjustments Coach Coquillard has made. Drive number 1 tonight, they were lighting it up in the air. Birch run seemed to shut that down, and here come the Dukes, grounding it out, smashing it up on the ground now.
Well, and your offensive play calling really has a lot to do with the success of your defense and the score in the game, and he knows his defense is playing very well early on, and so that can make your calling on offense a little different. 1st and 10
That's
again.
a good point. If you have confidence in your defense, you kind of like to slow the game down.
Christie, as Christie gets that thing on the outside, and again, great pursuit as Vance gets out there in a hurry to minimize that gain on the play.
Nice 5 or 6 yard gain again. Garber's getting him death by 1,000 cuts.
2nd and 9.
2nd down and 9 yards to go. Nice that nobody's got to travel too far because Coach Coquillard's right in front of the offensive set. 7:55 and counting left in our first half. 8-0. Garber on top as they are down tickling the red zone once again. Back to pass down the middle. Perfectly thrown to Anthony. He is into the end zone.
My
it's a
goodness.
Garber Duke touchdown. What a perfectly thrown ball from Schimmel. What touch.
And Adam Schimmel back in business for the Garber Dukes.
Boy, and Anthony really laid out nice for that ball. He knew exactly what he had to do. He knew where he was at on the field, and it ended up being a 6.
I want to quickly elaborate on that earlier point I was making. These guys have been playing with each other for a long time. They've built some great memories together, and they've been working together. You can tell that connection didn't take place this summer. That connection has taken place for the last 9 years. These guys know each other.
That's a great benefit, obviously, to these youngsters. Schimmel back. Trying to get rid of this on the outside. Again, he plants his foot down. He's near the goal line. He sneaks his way in. The 2-point conversion is good.
Fights his
Time
way
out
in.
of the field with 7:40 left in the first half. Garber Duke 16. Birch Run Panthers nothing. Back in a moment on Bay County TV.
Sports give so many opportunities to kids. It gives them an opportunity to see where they fit within a team, persevere, understanding how to work with different personalities. Those are the lessons that will make you a successful adult. As a mom, you have to have an understanding of what concussions are.
Concussions are things that are treatable. If we take care of athletes, they will be able to develop and have a long, happy, healthy life.
Back here on Bay County TV, 16-0, the Garber Dukes on top. Look at that kick along the ground. Finally picked up at the 20-yard line, trying to get to the outside is Rodriguez.
Rodriguez on the return.
He gets it out over the 30 to about the 32-yard line.
Number 2, Max Michalski.
Max Michalski, amongst others, in on that tackle. So that was a good kick. That goes down to the ground. And when you've got a ball that's not round, hitting that many times on the ground, it's going to take some funny hops.
Absolutely. Panthers going to start at their own 32. And I'll tell you what, they're hanging in there, but offense is going to have to get moving here pretty quick, or this game could get away from them.
As Jason Torres, the sophomores, got to come up with some big plays. But again, 2 of their first 3 drives start with a procedure penalty on first down. That's really
true.
not fair on the quarterback to start 1st and 15 on 2 drives.
That was a first half backbreaker.
Boy, he's coming on the quarterback option, and absolutely perfectly played by the Garber defense. Took the pitch away, forced him to come back to the inside. He had 2 defenders waiting for him.
Terrific contain once again by the Essexville Garber Dukes. I got to believe the coaches spent a few hours last Sunday looking at game film, and the players spent a few hours this week doing the same. They seem to be onto some things.
So they're going to give him a 2-yard, very hard-fought 2-yard gain on the play. Is Jason Torres, he doesn't want to take too many of those hits as he got popped hard coming up over the line of scrimmage. Again, he just takes a quick 3-step drop to the outside, that ball underthrown.
And I tell you, high school football fans can certainly relate to what I'm about to say. Sophomore quarterbacks, it is an impressive thing to be able to start on varsity as a sophomore. And all the fans watching a sophomore play quarterback are watching with bated breath on every single play because you got to be thinking about those big hits. A 15-year-old getting hit by 17-year-olds can sometimes be costly.
Well, and it's to have a 15-year-old starting anywhere is something on varsity. To have him at your most important position as that comes to the outside. And very close to the ball. That looks like the ball could be loose down to the ground. The Garber Dukes think they've got their hands on it, and they do. That looks like a helmet went right onto the football and jarred that thing loose. It's over on the far end of the field, but great job by Garber as they didn't give up on that play, Mike, and they were able to strip the ball, and they get position.
I tell you,
back at 43.
I'm counting 3 big breaks so far in this first half, and they have all gone Garber's way. Garber is 3-0 on the breaks. And if they can punch it in again before this first half gets over, Birch Run Panthers have a problem.
Well, and one of the problems you have is a confidence problem at that point because you haven't been consistently able to stop the Garber offense, and the Garber defense has made just enough plays to keep Birch Run out of the end zone as well.
That's right.
Schimmel back to pass. He's got the heat coming on. He's got that thing to Anthony. He takes a nice step back to the inside. Bangs forward down inside the 25 to the 20. What a great job of reversing his pivot. Once he caught that pass, went away from 2 defenders for another, probably 15 yards after the catch.
Boy, does that Schimmel kid have a gun or what? First half, I got him at 7 for 14, 122 yards in the air.
1st and 10 for the Dukes.
That is just a beautiful thing from the 20-yard line. Schimmel gives that ball to Christie. Christie gets hit at the line of scrimmage. Might have picked up a couple of yards. It's always nice to be able to come out here to Garber, and Dave Schwartz, the athletic director, is always very kind to us as he put us into this little makeshift press box here. And Bill Harris and the boys to the left, they tolerate us well enough for the night as well, so glad to have them all along. Tommy Green doing a great job on the PA as always. It'll be 2nd down and 9 yards to go for the Garber Dukes. Looking to punch one in again. Schimmel goes to the wide side of the field, throws across his body just over the outstretched fingertips of Shapansky. Boy, Schimmel really turns his shoulders, squares up, and lets that thing fly to the outside with some authority. And with 5:44 left, we've got officials timeout. Looks like we may have an injured player.
Okay. And you got to believe this is, of course, four-down territory for the Garber Dukes. As we said, they haven't attempted an extra point this year.
During this timeout, we'd like to introduce our Garber
So we'll take a quick break and be back in a moment on Bay County TV.
Over the years, he's put his heart into being your dad. He was always there to fix things. Now that he needs help, don't lose hope. Covenant Center for the Heart is leading the way in minimally invasive heart options for inoperable or high-risk patients, with the first and most comprehensive structural heart disease program in the Great Lakes Bay region. It's extraordinary heart care, close to home.
Back on Bay County TV, Jeff Doan, along with Mike Vincent and Natalie Doan filming, as we've got a big 3rd down and 9 yard to go situation for the Garber Dukes. They've had an opportunity to talk things over on the sideline. Let's see what Coach Coquillard's got up his sleeve. That's a quarterback keeper. Schimmel plants his foot. He bangs down for a gain on the play. Probably got about 4 yards on the play.
I'm at a bad
now
angle,
fourth down at about 3.
Looks like about 4th and 3 for the Garber Dukes. And right now I'm going to call this their first stake in the heart moment. They have a chance to drive a stake in the Panthers' hearts right now.
This is going to be our first village towing key play of the night for the Garber Dukes. They're going to take a timeout and talk things over. We'll take another break and be back in a moment on Bay County TV.
It's another fall Friday night, and your kids should be
playing high school football.
It's a fun game, and it's safer than ever.
It's safe because the rules, the coaching, and the equipment are better than ever before.
As a result, serious injuries are at an all-time low. Seriously.
And builds
strong schools, lifetime memories, and tomorrow's community leaders.
And it's mother approved.
It's a great game, and we want to teach it to your kids.
Back on Bay County TV, Jeff Doan and Mike Vincent along with you. And the bag of tricks is wide open here on 4th and 3, Mike, for Garber.
Yep. I like how Coach Coquillard called a timeout there. He knows that this is a big play. This is a big defining moment in this first half, and I wanted to make sure that they put their best foot forward here.
Schimmel back. He's going to roll to that side of the field. Wide open receiver out there with a perfect sure-handed catch.
Schimmel's pass is complete to Seagraves.
As Seagraves just made sure that he squeezed that thing in, knew he had the first down. Anything he got more than that was bonus. How about the confidence in your quarterback to roll him to the off-natural side throwing the football?
That's a great point, Jeff. Great call by Coach Coquillard. I think if you're talking about any other team, you're talking about a low percentage play there, as you said, going to the short side of the field, going on the quarterback's, the wrong side for the quarterback, but they got it done.
And he has nice touch on that pass. It was not overthrown as they reset offensively. Christie's going up the middle. He's got positive yardage. He's still moving forward, taking the pile with him. He's got a gain on the play of about 5 yards. He's down to about the 2.
Smashes his way down inside the 2-yard line.
They may get him to the 1.
2nd and goal for the Garber Dukes. Just under 5 minutes to go in this first half.
2nd and goal for the Dukes.
16-0, knocking on the door. And as you said a couple of minutes ago, Mike, this is a huge point in the ball game. If the Garber Dukes can put this one in and go up by 3 scores, Birch is really going to have their hands full with the rest of this contest.
Dukes are playing some pretty solid defense, so scoring 3 touchdowns on this team is going to be no small feat. And I'm not sure it can be done.
Off the left tackle. He's into the end zone. It's a Garber touchdown. Man, just methodically down the field
Isn't
they
that
go.
Something?
Not only do they score, but they take in chunks of the clock while they're doing it. They're wearing down that Birch Run defense.
Got to love that 4th and 3 call, deep in Panther territory, and then getting it done. It's going to be tough for the Panthers to come back from this. They are a vaunted program. They are very well coached, as all of our Birch Run fans know. It can be done, but it's going to be real tough now.
Schimmel to the near side. That pass is complete. The 2-point conversion is good.
Everything going right for the Essexville Garber Dukes tonight. 24-0. 4 minutes to go in the first half.
Seagraves on that reception again, squeezed that ball in. All 3 2-point conversions good. 24-0. 4:02 left in the half. Back in a moment on Bay County TV.
It doesn't matter what kind of weather. It doesn't matter what time of day or night. When Mother Nature's done her worst, the only thing that matters to us is keeping the lights on for you. The hard-working men and women of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, dedicated to keeping the power on in communities across the country. Because when bad weather strikes, we know what matters most. The IBEW, the power professionals.
Back here on Bay County TV, Jeff Doan and Mike Vincent along with you, Natalie Doan, on the film tonight as the Garber Dukes put their 3rd offensive score on the board, and more importantly, their 3rd 2-point conversion. That ball picked up at the 18-yard line by number 4, As he comes forward, Rodriguez pretty slippery as he gets out to the 36-yard line before he's finally brought down.
Nice spinning return by the Birch Run Panthers.
Concetta and Fisher doing a great job with that tackle.
Yep, nice job on special teams by the Garber Dukes. Want to go back to that last drive, that terrific execution on that 4th and 3, and for them to punch that ball in the third time. That's a sign, again, of a team that knows how to win. They got a core of guys that won the BAFL Super Bowl maybe 8-9 years ago, a little less than that. They got a core of guys that went to Williamsport, Little League World Series land. They got a team that won the state championship in Little League. They got guys that really like to win, and they know how to do it.
As it's 1st and 10 for Birch Run with less than 4 minutes left in this first half. See if they can make something happen. Again, perfectly played defensively.
Torres kept the ball.
As Swartout stood there.
In the backfield by Swartout.
As Swartout just stood there, made the quarterback make his decision and was still able to defend both positions. That was great play.
Well-coached defense, well-coached defensive line.
By longtime Garber assistant defensive coordinator Scott Peterson was with Thomas Lincoln Handy prior to that with Rob Hansen. Back in the day, they ran the JV team, and that was a fun thing during the 80s. But I got a chance to watch.
Some good things about the Handy Wildcats in the 1980s. I heard they were the deal. That was just a little bit before I moved into town.
As that ball carried on a play by number 15, Semitis. As Semitis does a nice job of trying to get a little bit of yardage, but Van Sumer in there to make sure that it was just a short gain. 3rd down and 8 yards to go as some stingy defense of Garber continues.
Semitis battles for about 2.5 yards, and he is grinding out every single inch he gets tonight. Garber Dukes really putting the pressure on.
Boy, and they look like they're coming 5 strong here on pressure on a 3rd down and 8. Let's look at Swartout coming. And again, the sophomore quarterback is going to have nowhere to go but to get rid of that football and throw it out of bounds. There was nobody in the neighborhood to throw it to, and we're going to have intentional grounding.
Huh. Now, I thought he was out of the pocket. I'm thinking they might wave this one off. Number 55, Braden Swartout, bringing the heat on that play.
Nope, as he came to the near side of the field, there was nobody home. And when you're throwing that ball away, whether you're in the pocket, whether you're out of the pocket, if there's nobody in the neighborhood and you're doing it to avoid the sack, that's going to be a penalty flag almost every time.
Okay.
He's out of the pocket!
So you're playing on the wrong night of the week for that, fans.
He's out of the pocket!
That's a no-brainer, and I know the fans think they understand the rules of the game, but let's just say in this time they didn't read the right page in the rule book. That was a good call.
Jeff, I've been watching football for 45, 46 years now, ever since I was a little kid, and I learned something new a couple times this season, and I just learned something new there. I thought high school kids were allowed to throw it away out of the pocket also.
So now they're bringing in the big running back as Guno comes back. And boy, I would have kept him out for the punt and let him have a little blow. But again, another opportunity for the Garber Dukes to have good field position. Mike, that looked like one of your 9-irons that hit on the 39 and came back to the 44-yard line. Had a nice draw on it. But the Garber Dukes, with 2:17 left, will have an opportunity to make things happen one more time here yet in the first half.
Great field position starting at the 44-yard line. And regarding that 9-iron shot, that happens about twice a summer by accident.
You know, and this is actually a very, very pivotal time in the ball game because the last thing that Birch Run could afford to do is give up another score. But the last thing you want to do offensively, knowing you're in control of the ball game, is to make a mistake.
Just give it away. Great point. Great point.
But, boy, you've got a quarterback that is really throwing the ball with great confidence. Now you got trips to the near side of the field. Anthony in on that slot makes a perfect 10-yard catch. And they're going to rule him maybe just a half a yard short of that first down marker, as Anthony knew exactly what he needed to do on that, and that pass was thrown so that nobody but he could catch that ball.
Just a wonderfully executed play. Garber Dukes 2-1. 2 wins have been against Boyne, Mountain, and Alma. They came back ferociously in the fourth quarter to beat Alma, and they lost a close one to a very tough Freeland team. So this is a squad that looks ready to go early this season.
Schimmel's pass is complete.
Anthony breaks a couple of tackles, but I'll tell you, he got finished off by Bomba at the end as he came and just loaded the boom on him. But Anthony very, very elusive after he catches that football.
And sometimes defensive backs like to lay hits like that to send a message, but I'm not sure Anthony's listening to the message. He's having a terrific night
question
tonight.
If they were just going to sit back and relax. Again to the outside. Very nice completion. Again, picking up the first down and more. Seagraves. The thing that's impressing me most, Mike, about these wide receivers is their yards after the catch. They've got great downfield vision.
Yes, they do.
Anthony looks like he's a little bit slow getting up, and he may have to come off the field. He's going to try and run it off as he's going back to the wide side of the field.
Just under 1:10 to go in this first half, and the Dukes are threatening again.
As they're tickling that red zone once again. On the outside, Seagraves cuts the corner. He's inside the 10. He's inside the 5. Dives for the pylon. And he's in the end zone. It's a Garber Duke touchdown. Boy, I'll tell you, yards after the catch, again, Mike, very impressive drive.
Everything is coming up blue tonight. What a team.
Well, we were both very excited about the possibilities coming here tonight,
right.
And the Garber Dukes have not disappointed.
Yep. I mentioned regarding all the teams in the area, you got to call the Garber Dukes the best show in town right now.
And they are putting on quite a show in front of what is a huge crowd. As soon as this two-point conversion, as Natalie's going to go right back over to that Garber side and show you some of the great fans that are here tonight. The band's coming out, getting ready for their halftime show. Two-point conversion. Schimmel's going to pull forward. He sneaks his way to the goal line. Did he get in? He's just shy of the goal line. The two-point conversion is no good. Timeout on the field with 54.9 seconds left in the first half as Natalie takes a peek over the way to a very jubilant Garber Duke side of the field.
You're up. There's an old saying, you can never have too many officials. The age of the average official is 52 and getting older all the time. We're constantly recruiting new people, younger people to join us. After you register with the MHSAA, look on the website to find an officials association near you. They'll put you in a position to succeed as an official. We all learned a lot from high school sports, and officiating is a great way to give back to the game. There's help wanted, just whistle.
Touchdown, Cofield.
Back here on Bay County TV, Jeff Doan and Mike Vinson along with you. Natalie Doan filming tonight as the Garber Dukes have really put it together. That's a live ball. It's been touched, and it's going to be still down on the field. We don't know who's got possession of it. The Garber Dukes are telling us they think they've got it, and they do have the ball once again as that pigskin rolled all over the place. And one of the Birch Run defenders had an opportunity to get it, but he did not get it. And Michalski comes out of the bottom of the pile. He must have the biggest pipes because he pulled that thing away, pulled it into his body. And with 47.9 seconds left, Mike, Garber has an opportunity to score again.
I tell you what, the Birch Run Panthers are just literally aching to get into that locker room right now.
Well, and another score before the half, and the second half is going to start with tips.
That's right. It's a running clock situation. Tell you what, Coach Coquillard and the coaching staff, absolutely, I don't think they could have asked for more from these guys tonight. My goodness, are they ready to go?
Well, they did an excellent job in preparation this week. They put together a great game plan that these kids have mastered. As they're coming down the field, that thing hung up in the air for a long time. As Anthony catches that ball, but way back here in the backfield, and we're going to have holding against the Garber Dukes, and that play's coming back. But I'll tell you what, Schimmel threw that ball a long ways in the air, and one of the Panther defenders thought he had a beat on that. He was going pick six on that.
That's right.
And Seagraves ended up pulling it down, but it's all for naught as the holding penalty will bring it back 10 yards from the spot of the infraction, and that makes that about a 17-yard penalty.
Ouch. And we'll have to call that the first break of the game that goes in the favor of the Panthers, and boy, did they need one.
And certainly that pass was complete down at about the 27-yard line, so that would have been within striking distance of the end zone, especially with Schimmel's arm. Now, does that change things with the 17-yard penalty? I believe it does. I think they're just going to run out the first half right now and do not want to make a mistake.
I think that's a smart move by Coach Quick-Willard there. Let's cut bait. 30-0 is pretty darn good. Let's go in and make sure we keep doing what we're doing. Everything's going to be just fine tonight.
So now they're down to 15 seconds. Oh, they're going to run another play. They're going to air it out and let it fly. He's going to throw that thing downfield. He's got a defender deep.
Look at that.
The ball is caught down inside the 3-yard line. Seagraves got behind the defense, and Schimmel threw that ball about 65 yards in the air from the near hash to the far side. Garber takes their final timeout of the first half, and they're down at about the 2-yard line. We're going to take a quick break and be back in a moment on Bay County TV.
AAA Transport and Limousine is the Great Lakes Bay region's most reliable and requested transportation service. For over a decade, we have been helping our clients to get to their destination on time, in style, and comfort. AAA's services include non-emergency medical transport, wheelchair accessible, school transportation, and shuttle services. We strive to provide exceptional customer service and tailor our fleet to meet your individual needs. Rest assured that you are in safe hands when you ride with AAA Transport and Limousine. To set up your next appointment, give us a call at 989-893-8294.
Back here on Bay County TV, not satisfied with 30. Coach Quick-Willard is going to try one last play with 4.3 ticks left to get it in the end zone. Schimmel turning around the corner. He flinks that ball to the back of the end zone.
How about that?
It looks like Shapansky may have it. I haven't seen the indication yet. It's a touchdown! Wow! Absolutely perfectly thrown ball. Shapansky knew exactly where he was at on the field. Mike got both feet down and the touchdown.
These guys know what they're going to do before they do it. I want to quickly send out a very special personal thanks to Coach Quick-Willard for showing me exactly why I'm up here talking about football, and he's actually down there coaching football. I thought he should sit on it. 30-point lead sounded fine to me, but
I think
he'll take
36 plus maybe 2 more sounds better.
Absolutely.
Christie with a nice little step again, going left tackle, cuts back up the middle, untouched into the end zone. 2-point conversion is good, and that's the half with our scores 38-0. The Garber Dukes with a dismantling of the Birch Run Panthers here. We're going to take a real quick break. Come back, we'll check out some of the band at halftime, and we'll recap the first half. Set the stage for the second half right here on Bay County TV.
Just like Danny, huh?
They'll probably never know about his thousands of hours of on-the-job training.
Here you go, Daddy.
Or that he spent as much time in the classroom as someone with a master's degree. You and I know he's one of the experts when it comes to electricity. Part of a team committed to doing the job right. They call him Dad. You call him the electrician right down the street. IBEW, the power professionals in your neighborhood.
Back at the IBEW 692 halftime show, Jeff Doan and Mike Vincent. If we learned something in the first half, don't ever second guess Coach Quillard, because he's got a plan and he executed it to perfection.
Boy, that's a gutsy play there. That was a gutsy call. Again, I was thinking 9 out of 10 coaches will settle for that 30-point lead at midfield and don't do anything to beat yourself. But I think that he sensed that his boys tonight are brimming with confidence. And why slow them down?
You know your personnel. You know their abilities. Schimmel threw that ball, in my estimation, about 65 yards. That is not human for a high school kid to do. And he threw it right on the dot.
Yeah, right in the bucket. Great first half for the Essexville Garber Dukes. I'm going to stretch my golf metaphor one more time and say something Mike Guizdella would say. Birch Run isn't a 2-foot gimme putt. This is a tough team that gave a very tough Elma squad a run. Garber just barely got out alive against Elma. So this was a good matchup going in, but the Garber Dukes came out firing.
When that first drive happened, you knew something special was in the works tonight because that offense clicked on every single play of that first series, and that really set the table for the first half.
And then kind of slowed down for the next two drives, and we said, okay, they are human. And then they got superhuman again.
That last touchdown means that we're in a running clock situation for the second half, and it is just going to be a very quickly played second half now. But I think that the Garber Dukes have sent the message.
They certainly have. And again, I want to send out props to the Birch Run fans that might be watching this game. Birch Run is a vaunted program, as you know. They have a very rich tradition, and if anybody can pull this off, it's them. But it is a very, very steep task.
And that's a coaching challenge for the second half to motivate your kids going, you know what, the first half things went our way. That doesn't mean it's going to go that way. You got to finish what you started and end it with style.
If you are Coach Gruno for the Birch Run Panthers, I think what you say at halftime is, look, guys, they aren't that great, and you aren't this bad. Let's do what we can do in the second half, and if we can't win this game, let's win the second half.
Coach Gruno says exactly that point. Win the second half so we can build towards next week. Tough to compete with Ozzy Osbourne. That concludes our halftime show, the IBEW 692 show. We'll be back with all the second half game action in just a moment on Bay County TV.
Village Towing and Auto Repair of Caucaulin and Bay City is here to help you in your hour of need with fast and friendly service. With over 30 years of towing experience, we know how to get the job done quickly and safely. From big to small, we do it all. Give us a call at 989-684-9607 for all your towing needs.
Back here and ready for the second half action. Jeff Doan and Mike Vincent along with you. Natalie Doan on the camera. And Mike, as we talked at the half, we didn't see this coming. We knew the first drive of the game, Garber really put it together. But after two slow drives where Birch Run stopped them, they just poured it on the rest of the half.
They sure have. That first half could not have gone any better for the Essexville Garber Dukes. They're kicking off the second half. Let's see how Birch Run responds.
There's another squib kick, and it takes a real high hop, and it's going to be taken, it looks like, by Ty Tanner.
And judging by that ferocious special teams coverage, it doesn't look like the Garber Dukes are ready to let up yet.
And again, you see the officials winding their arms. We're in a running clock situation here. Mm-hmm. Unless the Birch Run team comes down, it'll be a running clock all half. Unless
FYI,
it gets under
sports
35.
Fans, at 35 points, MHSAA rules mandate a running clock in the games in which there's a 35-point differential or greater. We're now being played with a running clock. If Birch Run can score, we don't have the running clock anymore. Clock will only be stopped with timeouts, injuries, points scored, and penalties.
First and 10 for Birch Run from their own 30s.
As Birch Run comes out again with the sophomore quarterback Torres, they give to the big fella. Nope, that's number 4 on the play, Rodriguez. As he had a nice gain of about 6 on the play. As he really runs well north and south.
Nice off-tackle play, well executed. 2nd and 4 for the Panthers.
As Rodriguez has had a couple of nice kickoff returns, although he's had quite a few opportunities to get good returns.
That's right.
Garber's had to kick off quite a few times in the first half. 2nd down and 4. As that Garber Duke defense is looking like they're in the attack mode. We're taking their time, and we had movement on the tailback as they pick that ball up, and the Garber Dukes are all over the place. That tailback got a chance to take a half step forward and got away with it.
That's break number 2 going for the Birch Run Panthers. Running back dropped the ball and scooped it right up. I guess you take your breaks where you can get them when you're down 36-0. Check that, 38-0.
When you're in that situation, though, as a running back, you've only got one responsibility, and that's secure the ball. Don't worry about what you're going to do afterwards. As Jason Torres, again with 2 backs in the backfield,
3rd and 5 for Birch Run.
They're moving things around. As Cook is the other running back. He's just off to the left of the quarterback. They're trying to draw Garber off sides. Very disciplined. Now they're down to their last 5 seconds. They just get it off before the 40-second clock. Rodriguez trying to get to the outside, picks up a couple of yards, but he's short of the first down.
He's going to be marked down about 2 yards short of the first down marker.
I've been very impressed with Swarthout tonight because he has been able to both do contain. He's been able to bull rush. He's gotten enough speed to get to the outside. He's really playing a nice football game tonight.
Garber Dukes looking terrific on both sides of the ball.
In another punt situation, they can't afford to give Garber the ball back at the 43-yard line, so they at least appear to be in kick formation.
I tell you, when you're down 38-0, I guess there isn't really too many calls you can make. Huge
bounce. And Birch Run's going to have that thing down inside the 5-yard line. That's going to go back to about the 1-yard line before it comes down. So that ball way down deep in the end of the north side of the field. And the Garber Dukes are going to have to work their way out. That's just another opportunity for Christie to carve out some yardage.
I tell you what, the punt makes that look like the right call, but I want to go back for a second. When you're down 38, beginning of the second half, it's 4th and 2 at midfield, and the other team has driven all over the place on offense. I'm thinking, go for it on 4th and 2. What the heck?
Well,
defense can't stop them right now.
At the 43-yard line, they weren't really certain that they had a play that they were going to get it, and they didn't want to give that away. So now we got a penalty flag on the play.
Of course, a 48-yard punt will justify that anyway.
That was perfectly done, and we might have offsides on the defense, and that might be a 5-yard bailout, as that indeed is the case. And that is just inexcusable for Birch Run, Mike, as they cannot afford to give up yardage when the heels of the offensive linemen are on the goal line.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, that was a chance to swing the momentum a little bit and, for the Panthers, and they kind of took the foot off the gas there.
Here goes Christie.
And here comes Christie.
Christie is brought down by Dylan Vance, but I believe, looking at it, it's going to be enough for a first down for the Garber Dukes. So again, Mike, with this running clock, this third quarter is going to dissipate in a hurry.
That's right. Dukes on the 14-yard line. 7 minutes to go in this third quarter, and you're right, Jeff. This is going to go by quick, especially if Garber's keeping it on the ground, which I'm not certain they're going to do.
Yeah, I'm not second guessing Coach Cook Willard. No way. As the ball carrier moving forward picks up some positive yardage again, as Christie is brought down by Dodak again, as Dodak has been very active in this football game. But the Garber Dukes are just chiseling it out. They pick up almost 5 yards on that play. As
Christie now with 96 yards on the ground and at least 1 touchdown, if not 2 tonight. Been so many, I'm starting to lose track. I should have wrote them down.
That was me. As it's second down and a long 5. Christie coming to the near side, has a nice block out in front of him.
Christie on the carry,
as he's able to pick up about 4 yards of real estate. Forrest White was the first defensive player there, but it's going to be third down and about a half a yard.
Yeah, I got about third and a chain link here, Jeff. And again, I'm not going to make a living trying to prognosticate what Quillard's going to do, but I have to say Christie's going to touch the ball here.
I would say that might be a pretty safe assumption as he's tickling 100 yards. He gets the ball. He makes the first person miss. He's got positive yardage. He's at the 50, the 45, the 40, the 35, down to the 30-yard line before he's finally brought down by 32. Cook finally chased him down, but Christie got his 100 yards and then a bunch.
Chalk up another 42 to Christie. What a night.
First down in Birch Run territory.
I guess he's one of those backs where if you need 1 inch, he'll give you 42 yards.
Boy, credit the offensive line with giving him a nice hole to run through. And he had great vision to get through that hole, but that's second gear to get into the open field.
Garber Duke's offensive line chewing up cement and spitting out sidewalks tonight.
There goes Christie again.
Christie on the
Able
carry.
to finish off by falling forward for that extra 2 yards.
Yep.
Cook again on the tackle.
Well coached, nice spin for 5 yards on the play.
These kids are going to sleep good tonight. They had, especially the offense has worked hard, but the defense to put up a goose egg so far has done their job very well.
That's right. I want to mention Alex Christie, the running back, was one of the key players on that Essexville Panthers BFL Super Bowl championship. It's the first one they'd won in about 10 years. That was probably 6-7 years ago.
He's got another hole up the middle. Again,
look at that.
He gets into that second level, plants that foot, and changes directions without losing speed. It's just a fabulous footwork by that young man.
And that was going to be my point. This guy's been running the ball since he was about 9-10 years old. He does know what he is doing. He's got a real sense of the game. He's got a real sense of how defensive players play, and he's about 2 steps ahead of them tonight.
As we're down to 4 minutes and 20 seconds and counting left in our third quarter of play, 38-0. The Garber Dukes on top, and they're looking for more as they're inside the red zone right now, sniffing the goal line. On the quarterback keeper. Banging forward inside the 10, down inside the 5, down to about the 3-yard line as Schimmel played that thing perfectly, saw the defensive end, was going to go for the pitch man, cut it upfield, and again, great vision, but great blocking by the offensive line.
Terrific read, Schimmel's part, running that option, that 21st century option we see so many teams do now. Schimmel running it to perfection tonight. And again, that offensive line.
Ideal situation at 2nd and 1. They don't have to do anything special. Christie bangs forward. He's sniffing the goal line. He's into the end zone. It's a Garber Duke touchdown.
The end zone for a Garber touchdown.
Boy, methodical again. I don't believe they put the ball in the air one time, and they were able to go all the way down the field from their own 2-yard line.
And I have to reiterate, this Birch Run Panthers squad is a talented squad. They're a good squad, but they have run into a buzzsaw tonight.
One of the few times you'll see the clock stopped. Again, in the tips, the S is for score. And Garber's going to go for 2 points again. Even at this point now, if Birch Run comes back with a score, the tips will continue.
That's right.
And the next score for Garber is that 50-plus point rule where the clock will only stop if the ambulance comes on the field.
And that is thing number 3 that I learned tonight. I didn't know about the 50-point rule. At some point, though, we know Coach Cook Willard is a real class guy, and at some point I know he's going to call off the dogs here. Probably around the start of the 4th quarter, I would say.
But you look at what he just did on this last drive. He didn't do anything special. He just ran the football, very basic running plays. And if you look over at Garber's team, I mean, they don't have 45 kids over there, so it isn't like you're 3 deep at every position. So
that's a good point also.
The point is no good. And so with timeout on the field, 44-0 Garber over Birch Run. Back in a moment on Bay County TV.
At Covenant Healthcare, we lead with the most advanced technology. We lead with the most experienced, comprehensive medical and surgical teams. We lead with partnerships to teach our future doctors and with organizations who help us bring world-renowned care close to home. We lead because our patients are at the center of everything we do. Covenant Healthcare, extraordinary care for every generation.
And we're kicking off. 3:36 to go in this third quarter. Garber Dukes in total command, 44-0 over the Birch Run Panthers.
Again, a nice kick down on the ground. Picked up. Is that Rodriguez again?
Rodriguez on the return.
He's shifty.
Wow.
Rodriguez makes it happen.
Nice return by Rodriguez.
Number 57, Nick Basket.
As Nick Basket finally gets a tackle on the play.
Terrific. I'm going to send out a special shout out to my friends Mark and Amy Basket, longtime Garber Duke fans. They have one son recently graduated last year, and I believe Nick is a junior this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Stonecipher over here on the sideline, he's got a twisted ankle that he's trying to walk off right now, and that is not going well for that young man right now. Been a hard-hitting game.
Yes, it has.
You got two big, strong, physical teams on both sides of the football, and those big hogs up front on both sides of the football are going to rest well tonight.
Again, two linemen for the Birch Run Panthers who are four-year starters. Number 51, A.J. Polly, one of them. Torres pass knocked away at the line of scrimmage.
Swartout just has got that big, long, lean body that he just puts those mitts up, and you're taught if you can't get to the quarterback, extend those paws, and he's got quite the reach.
Yes, he does. Nice defensive end play. You know, I'll tell you, every football team I've ever been involved with had a coach who said after almost every practice, almost every game, look, we've got a long way to go. Short memory. We got to think about tomorrow. We got a lot of things to work on. I'm not sure Coach Coquillard is going to be able to say that with a straight face Monday. Defense looks terrific. Offense looks terrific. Special teams looks terrific. I'd like to be at practice Monday to see what Coach Coquillard says to keep these guys focused on the next game.
You know, he's really just got to preach that this truly only is one game. And, you know, once the momentum starts going in your favor, things happen that may not happen on another Friday night. So
that's true.
You got to chalk up to the fact that you played as well as you can, but you cannot be cocky to the point where that's going to happen every week or something
That's
not
right.
good could happen next week. And that's going to be a tough job for the coaching staff. Here comes Van Sumeren, and Van Sumeren just not able to get there at the last second, and looks like number 15, Semitis, gets the catch and might have picked up the first down. He did. Van Sumeren was all tangled up with that offensive right tackle, and he looked like he was trying to get away and could not get away.
That was number 72, Andrew Matsky, with a terrific block on the end there.
I'm just trying to keep an eye on those two because they are really getting after each other. As Torres, again, out of that shotgun. Yep. Yeah, the bookends for Garber tonight have been sensational. Swartout and Van Sumeren. Now he's coming out of bull rush over the middle of the ball. Tipped off the hands of the intended receiver to Cook. As the Garber Dukes looked like they were close as Camden Fisher dove for that deflected ball and almost had himself a pick.
Got to credit the Garber secondary, as well as the linebacker play, as well as the defensive line play.
And that's the end of our third quarter of play. It's 44-0. The Garber Dukes on top. Back in a moment for the final 12 minutes of the running clock here on Bay County TV.
Our smiles can light up a room. Our work can light up an entire city. We're the men and women of the IBEW, working with a code of excellence that guarantees the job will be done right, on time, and safely. We're lighting the path to the future. Let us show you just how bright that path is.
Back here for the fourth quarter, Jeff Doan and Mike Vincent along with you. Torres back to pass. Beautiful catch for about 8 yards on the far side of the field.
Torres' pass is complete to Hedden.
It looked like Hedden with the catch over there. Had to wait for a second. Not quite as high up on this visitor's side as they're just talking about the new press box and stuff. Talked with Coach Coquillard as well as Dave Schwartz. And they took some time Wednesday to go and visit a few press boxes so that they make certain that they're doing the very best that they can. But they found out press boxes aren't cheap.
That's right. Coach Coquillard made the comment that whatever one they get is going to be the last one they get.
Looks like offside. Maybe he had Van Sumeren in that neutral zone at the left defensive end.
You know, Jeff, you mentioned this interesting matchup between Van Sumeren and Polly. Reminded me of a story long ago, took place at Engel Stadium. A guy named Lamar Woodley was playing for Saginaw, got himself a Super Bowl ring. Lloyd Carr was there to scout him for Michigan. So he was squaring off against our guy by the name of Alex Mitchell, who wasn't on Michigan's radar. Mitchell gave Lamar Woodley a battle that night, and Carr says, we'll give both these guys a scholarship.
And Mitchell did a nice job, too. Got an opportunity to get some starts and played
lots of
very
time
well.
his freshman year, started his sophomore and junior year. Senior year, he was battling injuries, and they had a new coaching situation, so it was sophomore and junior year. Got himself a Rose Bowl ring, I believe.
So Van Sumeren on the tackle, but another moving of the sticks. As it'll be 1st and 10 for Birch Run. Birch Run finally getting to a little rhythm here offensively.
Yeah. And I like what I'm seeing from the Birch Run coaching staff and the Birch Run offense. These guys are standing strong, and they're going to make some good things happen.
Torres with a little slingshot pass complete to Semitis. As Semitis goes to the other side of the field. And again, Torres doing a nice job. He rolled to the wide side of the field. Saw an opening, kind of threw a little slingshot pass, but he wanted to make sure he short-armed that ball, and it got to its intended target in a hurry.
That's right.
2nd down and about 4 yards to go as Semitis gets 6 on 1st down. Jason Torres again. Now he calls out the revised signal to both wide receivers as single back again. And they have that quick out to Semitis again. He picks up the 1st down and more.
Nice
finally brought down.
sustained drive going for the Panthers here.
Looked like Matt Van Sumeren on the tackle. Yes.
Matt Van Sumeren on the tackle.
Here comes one of those big dogs off the field for Birch Run, looking a little nicked up.
That's
Number
right.
53 on that play, and that's Chase Smith.
Excuse me, the 21.
Torres again, twins to both sides of the field. He's got a wide open receiver who's going to pick up about 6 or 7 yards again. The entirety of the Garber defense there to greet him. Swartout from his defensive end position comes back to make a tackle.
That ball's going to be marked about 3 yards short of the 1st down marker. Make that 2 yards short of the 1st down marker. Again, this is where some Panther pride is coming into play here. They're down by a lot of scores, but they're still playing football. You got to like that.
You got to make sure you win the second half. It's that quick pass on the outside to Rodriguez. If the quarterback has a little touch on that ball, Rodriguez was wide open. You could afford to put a little air on that thing, lead him, and he might have had 6.
I was going to say just the same thing. Garber caught a break there. If that pass is on the dough, Panthers are on the scoreboard.
Again, clock running here in this 4th quarter. It's 44-0. The Garber Dukes on top. Torres trying to draw the offense or the defense offside. His offensive line is set. He's going to run that ball forward, trying to pick up the 1st down. He's very close to that 1st down marker. He's going to be a touch short. It's going to be 4th and 1 as the defensive interior line of the Garber Dukes come up with a stop. Boy, how many times have we called Swartout's name tonight?
That's right. The interior line for the Essexville Garber Dukes, those big uglies up front are really getting the job done tonight.
The big uglies are awful handsome tonight.
That's right. Looking good from the Garber stands anyway.
Indeed it is. 4th down and a full yard to go for a 1st down. As Torres looks at his wrist to come up with that magic play that's going to come up with a yard or more to move the sticks. Rodriguez to the outside, spins away from the first. Van Sumeren thought he had him, and they grabbed a hold of the towel, couldn't get a hold of the pants or the jersey, and Rodriguez spun away for the 1st down.
Rodriguez running hard.
The run is good enough for a
As Van Sumeren came away with a souvenir, but that was a towel. First and goal from
Van Sumeren
at the 6.
isn't missing much tonight.
No, he certainly has played very well. Torres back, throws that ball into the corner of the end zone. Nearly intercepted. Looked like a little miscommunication between the quarterback and wide receiver.
I think you've got that right on the money, Jeff.
Second and goal.
Referee was the receiver was going for the pylon. Quarterback thought he was going to cut.
As again, the clock continues to roll here in the fourth quarter. We're down to 6 minutes and counting left in this game. As Torres once again looks over the defense, and it looks like a full attack mode coming from that Duke defense. And an unforced error
Flag on the play.
as the wide receiver on the far side anticipated
Is full start against Birch Run.
that snap count. And when you anticipate that snap count, you really take away the momentum of your offense, and they've had a fair amount of false starts tonight.
Yes, they have. We're just talking about this in the press box the other night. I think when a coach sees guys jump off sides, that grinds them a little bit, but when they see receivers jump off sides, that really grinds them.
They just have to watch that football. Torres going to this side of the field, trying to get to the outside, and he's running out of real estate. Throws that ball into the corner of the end zone, and it's going to be a Birch Run Panther touchdown.
Terrific to see. Panthers on the scoreboard.
Well, and Jason Torres bought as much time as he could rolling to the wide side of the field. He was smart enough as a 15-year-old sophomore to know the heat was coming. He had to get rid of the football, and he threw a strike.
Exactly right. Not just a well-aimed pass, a well-executed play. Smart job by the quarterback. Tell you what, this Torres guy is going to make some real noise in the next couple of years. I can't wait to see what he does for Birch Run.
The extra point is up and good from Kevin Jarrett. Timeout in the field. Just under 6 minutes left in our fourth quarter. It's 44, and Birch Run 7. Back in a moment on Bay County TV.
My hip, my knee, my joints feel out of whack. Ow, ow, oh my, the pain, I can't take it anymore.
Back here on Bay County TV, Jeff Doden and Mike Vincent along with you. High, deep end over end kick. Jared sends that thing back. And that's going to roll into the end zone. That'll be a touchback. And we'll come back out to the 20. But the clock continues to roll as we're approaching 5.5 minutes left in this ball game.
Wow. Now, I'll tell you what, it's going to be a short night of work for both of us, Jeff, but it sure was a fun night. I want to thank you again for letting me come and work with you again. I love doing this.
Well, you're the first on our list. And when you said yes, I was elated last week when we were doing Bay football. And so I could rest easy this week knowing that the color commentating job was in very capable hands.
Well, I'm glad you rested easy. I was having a hard time sleeping. I was so excited for it, actually.
Well, we both knew we were going to come and see a good football team. We anticipated the game being a little closer than it did, but the Garber Dukes have really put on a show tonight.
Yes, they have. These guys are, as I said, they have a terrific resume spanning back when they were 8, 9 years old in all sports. But these guys are poised to create some very vivid, lifelong memories, not just for themselves, but for the citizens of Essexville. They've done it since they were little kids, and they're going to do it for, well, this year and the next couple of years anyway. So it's going to be fun to see.
When you have that team bond, that camaraderie, that ability and willingness to compete for each other as a team, you can't teach that. I mean, that's something that those kids have to develop on their own, and this is a very tight-knit group of kids.
Yes, they are.
And their leadership does not necessarily just come from their senior class, which is a great tribute as well. They've got underclassmen that have stepped up in leadership roles on this team, and you got to admire that.
That's what you have when a coach can facilitate what they call in the business world a synergy. When the energy starts creating a life of its own, that's when you know you've got something special. And I think that's where the Garber Dukes are right now.
And I'm looking on the sideline, this number 35, Nathan Smith for Birch Run. He looks like an athlete. He's on crutches, and he's probably somebody that they're missing greatly on the field right now because he looks like he could play and contribute.
This is the time of the season where injury does take its toll.
As a third down play is McNally on that little jet sweep as he comes to the near side of the field. Very well defended. It's Colin Parrish with that first hit.
And nice
knowing that you're going to go 3 and out, Mike, you still have chewed up 2.5 minutes of clock.
That's right. And it looks like Coach Quillard is moving some guys around and getting some guys experience at different positions. I like what he's doing here. Every single minute of the game, coaches see a purpose in it. Coach Quillard is doing work, not for this game, but for future games. Good stuff.
Looks like Shapansky is in at quarterback right now. Could he be a kicker as well?
Huh. Quick kick.
There's a flag on the play.
False start called on the Dukes.
So that takes that element away, but nice when you can have a kid punting that is also your backup quarterback, and a young man that as a freshman was awarded and offered a scholarship to the University of Michigan to play baseball, but he started his freshman year off with a 2-hitter against one of the top teams in the state in Bay City Western. So you get noticed in a hurry when that happens. Not like he came out of the dark, but that was certainly a welcome to high school play.
That's not a bad freshman moment, not a bad moment at all.
As there's a short kick, and that kind of takes a little bit of a Birch run hop. And that'll be down about the 34-yard line.
Terrific field position for the Birch Run Panthers, and I have to believe the coaching staff for the Panthers are saying, where were a couple of these breaks in the first quarter and the second quarter? But sometimes that happens.
It's crazy how that fickle finger of football fate sometimes falls.
Yes.
Sometimes good and sometimes bad, but that is consistently inconsistent how it happens.
And I hope this doesn't sound too cliche, but this is a character moment. This is where good things happen in the, on the bus ride on the way home for the Birch Run Panthers. The coach can build on this and talk about this team that kept their nose in there when they weren't getting any breaks at all. That's the kind of stuff that wins games in the next 5 weeks, actually.
As Torres was able to get that ball as he bobbled it, and then he got it out to Cook, who also bobbled it, so the potato must have been hot for a minute. But as soon as it was bobbled by Cook, he drew a lot of attention out there from the Garber Dukes.
And somehow picked up 3 on the play.
As the spot of that ball is put back after a couple of yard gain. As we're down to a minute left in the ball game, can Birch Run come up with another big play before the end of the game? Throwing that thing to the outside, it's intercepted. And the Garber Dukes might not need to run another play offensively, as it's down to 40 seconds, so they won't have to run a play. They won't get that ball set in time before the 40-second stop, and so they'll come out on the field, but this one's in the books.
Terrific job, Garber Dukes. Terrific night. Great best wishes for the rest of the season. I tell you what, I've been a Central guy for 29 years. I'll be a Central guy for the rest of my life, but I'll tell you what, I got a place in my heart for the Dukes tonight.
They have earned a spot indeed, as they're going to go to midfield, and they are going to have a much well-deserved and hard-fought victory, as there's 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 and 0. That's all there is. There isn't any more. The final score in our ball game, the Garber Dukes 44 and the Birch Run Panthers 7. Back in a moment to put the wraps on this one in just a moment on Bay County TV.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
Back to put the wraps on this very impressive 44-7 victory for Garber. And Mike, as this game started out, most coaches will have a set of scripted plays to start the game. When you have a quarterback that executes the way that Schimmel did the entirety of the first drive, you had to have a sense it was going to be a good night for the Dukes.
Sure did. That first drive, they set the tone. They proved that they could pass it in the air. They tried a few runs. Birch Run seemed to have coached up the running plays, so they were stuffing that up. Quillard says, okay, we'll pass for a while. Passes were flying. Then they said, we'll run for a while. the run started to work. Then they said, we'll pass again. The pass starts to work. That's not a bad Friday night for Coach Coquillard.
Boy, it's so much fun when all the buttons that you push end up with the success that everything their offense did tonight, too.
Absolutely. They're going to have a good weekend. I think everybody can sleep in till 10, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning and then get back to work in the film session on Sunday and have some fun next week.
We've spent so much time tonight talking about the offense, but the defense was pretty special for Garber tonight as well.
Schimmel lit it up on offense, but the unsung heroes are definitely that defense. My goodness, that defensive line for the Essexville Garber Dukes stuffed up a very tough Birch run team. And again, 2 four-year starters on the line.
Well, Swartout and Van Sumeren, being the bookends on the defensive line for Garber, acquitted themselves very well against those 2 four-year starters.
Absolutely. And we got to mention the contain on defense. When Bertrand tried to run outside, nothing was working there because the defensive backs were doing well. When they tried to put it in the air, well, I guess we could say this is a complete effort by the Essexville Garber Dukes. There isn't a negative thing we can say about them. Other than they didn't give us any hot dogs.
If I've got one apology for the night, that's trying to second-guess Coach Coquillard late in the first half. Just when I think I've got these coaches figured out, they always say, Jeff, remember, that's why we put you upstairs. We don't want you on the sidelines trying to second-guess. But that throw by Schimmel late in the first half really was one of the nails that went into the coffin that got them to the running clock situation in the second half. But from start to finish, a very, very impressive on both sides of the football for the Garber Dukes.
Absolutely. A total team win.
What more can we say? You saw it all on TV tonight. We were elated to be here to get our first look at the Garber Dukes. We're back in week 7 to get another peek at them. They're 3-1 on the year, Mike, and they really gained some momentum tonight.
Absolutely. These guys are brimming with confidence, and this is going to pay big dividends in a tough season that's just about one half over.
Well, pleasure that you on short notice could come and be with us again. You did a masterful job. Always a pleasure having you in our neighborhood.
Pleasure was all mine, Jeff. Thank you.
That about puts the wraps on things. I'm Jeff Doan along with Mike Vincent. Natalie Doan, stellar job tonight for only one camera. She does a masterful job. She's kinfolk, but I like to give kudos where it's due. Very nicely done, Natalie Doan.
Cameraman, producer, director.
Extraordinaire. Yes. So have a great night, and we'll look forward to talking with you next week.